right at the top, there's huge news came in today, this morning, wherever you are in the world. Dave Portnoy buys back Barstool Sports. Now, that's huge news, but the way he did it is even bigger. So what's happened is he hasn't paid a single cent for it. He's got it back for absolutely nothing. And one of the stipulations in their agreements is that if they ever resell Barstool Sports, Penn Entertainment or Penn Gaming would pretty much then receive 50% of that sale. So what a circumstance to be in.
Well, it's a obviously a sweetheart deal for Dave. One, with ESPN and Penn Gaming, forming their alliance and creating the ESPN Bet app. Obviously, that jettisoned the Barstool plan, which had met with, which 3 years ago when they entered into that agreement, had all the great intentions of kind of building that, that betting brand, together. Lots of things, that we don't need to get into here, kind of prevented that from blossoming in the way that I think they all envisioned. And at the end of the day, Penn Gaming and EA, and now, Dave gets Barstool back, still gets to keep his shares. And you mentioned the agreement, one, if he does sell it, there's a 50% that goes back to of that net sale goes back to the Penn Gaming. But also, one of the stipulations is that, Dave's not going to compete with them in the gaming space, which I don't think he has any intention to do. And I think he's excited to get back, as he says, to the pirate ship and getting back to what made Barstool popular and successful, prior to that acquisition, and, being a content provider, not being as regulated as they were with a publicly traded company, a gaming company, and then obviously with ESPN coming on board, that would have been a whole different set of regulations internally. That if you follow Dave, if you follow any one of the personalities on Barstool, what made them great was that freedom to speak and to come up with content that may be a little bit off the beaten path or off the edge. And now they can get back to that. And, the first thing that happened today was Mitzi was reinstated with Barstool from his banishment to as a brick company watch spokesman for Dave. Now he's back formally on Barstool. So, one of those deals that, obviously it's a great deal for Penn because they upgrade in their betting, in their licensing partner on their betting brand. Two, it's a great deal because I think at the end of the day, I think they realized they were somewhat confined with the Barstool partnership. Not from a standpoint of like they didn't like them. It's just that the business and the regulations that run the business that they now are in. Barstool was just banging up against walls, and it was not a good fit. And so everybody separates. Everybody's friends. Dave's happy. Penn's thrilled. ESPN's now in the game, and now let's see what happens on both sides. Remember Barstool's got a bowl game sponsorship. What happens to the Arizona Bowl now with that? ESPN is going to start creating their betting platform. Rumor is Pat McAfee is going to be the name that moves into that and becomes very prominent in that space. So I think at the end of the day, the Barstool fans get their brand back, get their personalities back, and Penn gets what they're looking for in obviously a marquee brand with ESPN, and ESPN gets the betting platform where they have been kind of seeking for some time now, and they get a partner in that. And so let's see where this one lands. But at the end of the day, I think it's a win-win for both sides, because I think we as sports fans, get that Barstool product back that I think that a lot of people, a lot of fans enjoy. But also, we get ESPN in the betting game that they've been wanting to get into, and maybe this is one of those first steps for Iger as to give that ESPN spinoff away from Disney, its new identity. And let's see where it goes, because I think we're all intrigued and look forward to seeing where it lands.
Why now? Why would Iger pull the trigger now and not when he could have multiple years back or many years back?
Maybe it's a timing play, because Barstool, the Barstool Penn thing was probably coming to a head internally. There's probably these conversations coming on. Obviously, they brought, they got McAfee over to ESPN. McAfee had a relationship with FanDuel, so obviously, maybe there was conversations there. Don't know, but I think the timing now is it's been on the top of his list, and maybe this is just an opportunity play that with Barstool and Penn Gaming, maybe at a breaking point. It was a natural move in, and by the way, I mean, Penn's paying for this. I mean, they're paying threefold what they paid for Barstool to get this relationship with ESPN. So maybe money talks in this way.
Do you think Penn made their money back on Barstool?
Oh, I don't think they made their money back on it, but I think what they believe is addition by subtraction, so that they can actually move forward with the plans of what they want to do. And a partner and a brand that will operate much more successfully in a regulated space. We've as much as we love Portnoy and Big Cat and Mitzi and et cetera, they couldn't get things done in certain states because of Dave's background. They couldn't get things done, because of things that were said, background stuff, whatever. They've got employees going on and saying things that offended the or violated the code of ethics for a publicly traded company. And then you've got as Dave announced in his big press release today, there was lots of shots taken at the organization that were just that affected stock price. And at the end of the day, they're shareholders, and shareholders say, look, sometimes you got to cut your loss. And it's not because you don't like anybody. You're like, it's a business decision. I think they both came to a business decision of what's in the best interest of this stock. Dave reacquiring Barstool and separating out, ESPN coming in, but the stock went up 14-15% today. So Dave's thrilled. Dave's still a stockholder in Penn Gaming. They lost a lot of stock hit when they fired Mitzi. And now you gain some of that back, with the ESPN partnership. But I think moving forward, there's a much greater chance of a betting brand success with ESPN than ESPN's market share and Barstool's market share are night and day as to who they can deliver and how they can deliver it. So addition by subtraction, win-win, mutual respect, if you will. No one's mad at anybody. It's just like, hey, everybody's winning, and all the brands are getting what they want to move forward. And hopefully that just, means we've got, two great products to consume as people in the sports business.
I mean, he's got to be one of the luckiest blokes alive to sell a company for hundreds of millions of dollars and then get it back for free, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a pretty good deal. As someone said, it's like selling your car and then the person that bought it giving it back to you, saying, just it's got your smell in it. I don't want it. And just all I ask is you just don't drive by my house anymore. Hey, win-win, right? I mean, it's crazy stuff, but we'll see what happens. I'm curious to see how this affects our friends down the road in Tucson with the Arizona Bowl, or I should say the Barstool Sports Bowl.
Barstool Sports, yeah. So one question I got for you, given this being your space, especially when it comes to ads and naming rights and so on and so on, what happens to all these gaming advertisers that spend millions of dollars on ESPN now a year?
What's that?
What happens to all these gaming advertisers that spend millions of dollars a year on ESPN ads?
Well, I don't know that ESPN is going to turn away the money yet. I think it's the way I see it is it's no different than beer advertising. I mean, there's certain categories that I don't think you can do exclusively. So they're just a player in the game now. I think a lot of that's going to lie on the fact of does Barstool and Caesar Sportsbook and BetMGM decide do they decide to put all their money on Fox Sports? I mean, I think at the end of the day, they're still going to advertise. We'll see. I mean, I don't know that it hits right away yet, but we'll see.
How does somebody go to a company? So let's say I'm DraftKings and I go and do all these ads and I pay millions of dollars a year to be put through the ESPN network, and then at the same time ESPN's got their own betting book.
Well, they're two separate businesses. I mean, at the end of the day, as an advertiser, as a brand, do you want your brand on the sports leader? You're a sports betting app. You're just gonna take your product off, the number one sports network and not advertise there. I mean, I think everything remains status quo unless until and I don't think it will happen. But if ESPN starts giving you shitty time slots, which they won't, because your ad buyer is buying certain slots and certain shows and things like that. It's regulated enough there to where you're going to get what you pay for. They can't fudge it and give their guys a better slot. I think it's just going to be, at the end of the day, is you're just going to have one more new player in the mix here, and that's the ESPN still gets their still cashes the advertising checks. So I think the other competitors are still going to advertise there and buy their slots and compete head to head on the out in the marketplace
and probably offer ridiculous deals to
yeah I mean and I think it'll be interesting to kind of see what their entry play is, how they do it. Don't know how quickly they'll start to gain some market share, but that's the fun part, is that they believe they've got an opportunity to snag some real estate in that space, and otherwise you don't make this move.
Absolutely. Thank you everyone for tuning in. We'll catch you all next week on the Business of Sport. See you everyone. Goodbye.
Take care.